Hi, I'm Barry Braun, and this is Abby and Charlie. They're my grandchildren. And like the thousands of other parents and grandparents that I've talked to, I care deeply what kind of world they're going to be in 30 years from now. Most scientists and thought leaders agree their future is at risk. In this video, you will be exposed to two brand new ideas that can create a better future for Abby, Charlie, and all of the other children of the world, and a better future for ourselves as well. Most experts agree that the reason Abby's and Charlie's future is at risk is because of our focus on the GDP economy. The GDP economy only cares about efficiency, productivity, and quantity. It does not care about people or the environment, and it does not care about the well-being of Abby and Charlie 30 years from now. In fact, those who promote the GDP economy see people and nature as simply as resources to serve the GDP economy. The objective is not to serve the people, but to serve the GDP economy. And this is backwards. So the first big idea is instead of a GDP economy, we need a giving forward economy. An economy where the purpose of the economy is to serve the people and the nature that supports us. How does a giving forward economy work? Well, it's an economy where we use our resources for the benefit of our communities and for the well-being of its citizens. The giving forward economy is still an economy where we move things around between nature and people, but we do it for a different reason. We do it to build a strong, resilient communities where members of the community have enough, belong, have a sense of purpose of serving others, enjoy security, and experience a sense of fairness. Researchers tell us that these qualities of having enough, belonging, purpose, security, and fairness are the basis for the sense of a deep, satisfied happiness we all long for and want for our children. Researchers also tell us that once we have enough, more does not contribute to greater happiness. So let me ask you, which would you rather have? More happiness for yourself and those you care about, or more wealth? When asked, 87% of the people chose happiness. It's fundamental that we want to be happy, much more than we want to be rich. If we want a happy world for ourselves and for the futures of children like Abby and Charlie, the world can no longer afford the GDP economy, an economy where we take a lot, and if we're lucky enough to have a lot, we might give back a little. So the first big idea is we can no longer afford the taking GDP economy. We need a giving forward economy. Is a giving forward economy even practical though? Well, we already have a giving forward economy. In the finance sector, there are impact investors who invest in ideas that strengthen the well-being of our communities. In the government sector, we have governments providing social services and the transfer of wealth for the purpose of making communities more resilient. In the NGO sector, we have tens of thousands of not-for-profits whose purpose is to serve communities, mostly to undo the damage caused by the GDP economy. And in the business sector, we have a new kind of business called social enterprise, whose purpose is doing good before making profits. We have the basic infrastructure for a giving forward economy. The problem is we don't honor it because we don't measure it. And because we don't measure it in terms of what its primary purpose is, it remains insignificant compared to the GDP economy. We have strong measures for the GDP economy. We know what the global GDP economy is. We measure the national GDP economy all of the time. We can know the GDP economy of the cities and towns that we live in and how much they contribute to the GDP. And we can even know how much the local restaurant or the Walmart business contributes to the GDP economy, both locally and nationally. But we do not know how much well-being each of these contribute to our communities. There's an old saying, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. And that is the second big idea. Let's create a measure of how much well-being each organization contributes to our giving forward economy. In this way, we will honor the giving forward economy. We do have some pretty good measures for the giving forward economy at the global and national scale. We have the measure the United Nations uses, the Human Development Index, and we have several others such as the Genuine Progress Index. And these measures do a pretty good job of measuring well-being at the national level. But we have no measures at the organizational level. And without measure, we have no accountability and no way to honor the giving forward economy. This is why organizations can so easily deflect questions and baffle us with whitewash, greenwash, and public relations statements. We have no way of holding them accountable for how they affect our communities. Yet, it is at the level where business, government, and NGOs intersect with our communities that our well-being is enhanced or harmed. So the second big idea is, let's create a new measure for economy. Let's create the measure of GWB for our economy, from top to the bottom. Let's create the Gross Well-Being Index. When we measure what we want, maybe we can have what we want. Communities that provide us with our basics for happiness now and for the future of our children. Communities that provide us with sufficiency, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, security, and a sense of fairness. Communities that are the source of our happiness. So the two big ideas are, let's move from the taking economy to a giving forward economy. And let's measure how much business and organizations contribute to the well-being of our communities. If you agree with these two big ideas, if you agree that we need to shift to a giving forward economy, if you agree we need to measure how organizations affect the well-being of our communities, we need to know you support these ideas. Your voice matters. Please add your voice to our online support community. The more voices there are, the more likely we can create this kind of change. We have done some groundwork for creating the Gross Well-Being Index, but we also need expertise and resources. If you want to be part of creating the Gross Well-Being Index, we'd love to hear from you. Just simply contact us. Send us an email. If you agree the world needs a giving forward economy, add your name to the community. If you want to help in a more substantial way, reach out to us. Abby says, give me a giving forward economy.